This is Biology 1, Chapter 9, Part 2 on cellular reproduction. In this lecture cast, we will be talking about cell cycle regulation and the causes and results of cancer. Cell cycle regulation is very important. The cell cycle has to go 100% correctly 100% of the time with 100% of your cells. So the timing and the rate that it happens is very important to healthy cells. You can't speed through the cell cycle and you can't speed through individual stages. Again, everything has to go 100% correctly 100% of the time. Your cells have some chemicals to help them do this, and they are called cyclones. Cell cyclones run the cell cycle. Cyclones are a chemical signal to start cellular reproduction. Cyclone is a protein which binds to a special enzyme called cyclone-dependent kinase, or CDK. When the protein and the enzyme link up together, the cyclones can begin to give their chemical signals. Cyclones will signal the start of the DNA replication in the S stage of interphase. It will also signal the beginning of protein synthesis, and cyclones will signal the start of cytokinesis or nuclear division. Just like in mitosis, these cyclones are going to make sure that the cell cycle is going 100% correctly 100% of the time. At the end of G1 in interphase, there is a check for DNA damage. If the DNA is damaged, you want to make sure to fix that before you go on to actually copying the DNA. If you copy damaged DNA, that copy will end up in the new cell. In the S stage of interphase, there are general checks as the DNA is being replicated. G2, at the end of interphase, there is another check after the DNA is replicated to ensure no mistakes have been made. After cytokinesis is all finished, after the cytoplasm divides, there is a spindle fiber check to make sure that there is enough material to make spindle fibers and a spindle apparatus for the next time the cell divides. If cell cycles do not go 100% correctly 100% of the time, cancer can result of that. Forms of cancer are basically a failure of the cell cycle. It's the uncontrolled growth and division of cells. Every cell has a lifespan. It's called its Hayflick limit. Every individual cell has so many times it's allowed to divide, and then after the last division, that cell will undergo apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. If a cell does not undergo apoptosis, it will continue to divide. Cancer cells basically are old cells or damaged cells that continue to divide, regardless of what the cell cycle is telling them to do. Cancer cells end up overcrowding normal cells, and you can lose tissue function. And because tissues are a part of organs, that organ may not function correctly. And if that organ doesn't function correctly, the system that that organ is in may not function correctly, and the organism may not function correctly because one of its systems does not function correctly. So cancer really does start at the cellular level. It's the failure of the cell cycle. So the cell cycle continues after it's not supposed to anymore. There are basically two causes of cancers. We have environmental causes of cancer. Things that are called carcinogens are environmental substances or agents that can cause cancer. For example, long-term exposure to radiation without appropriate protection. The different chemicals and things in tobacco, and cigarettes. Those are environmental causes of cancer. Hereditary forms of cancer are found in the genes, in the blueprints, the DNA itself, and can be passed down from generation to generation. Again, the cell cycle needs to go 100% correctly 100% of the time. Cancer could be a result of the cell cycle not going 100% correctly 100% of the time.